another another amazing night of the Stanley Cup Playoffs in the books, but unfortunately, it had a bit of a terrible occurrence. John Tavares ended up injured and taken out on a stretcher. Oh my God! And when I saw that, my mind immediately went back to Jake Muzzin last year in the bubble, and it was just one of those terrible, inadvertent things that happened. He was on the receiving end of a legal hit, and then Corey Perry actually tried to do his best to get out of the way, and his knee ended up inadvertently striking Tavares' head, and now he was just taken out of the stretcher. It was just terrible to see. And poor Austin Matthews, just the wave of emotion going through him. But yeah. So game marched on. I'm sorry. The game marched on, and it didn't end well for the Leafs. Montreal beat them 2-1. The game-winning goal was a shorthanded goal. Leafs really need to work on that power play. They do. They really do. It's just awful. But the night started with four of the teams going at it, and the Panthers, they live. I've never seen that movie, They Live. But the Panthers live on, a big comeback win. It was a big comeback win for them. They started up 2-0, but then they went into this big hole. But they marched on. They forced overtime, the sixth overtime game in this year's playoffs, and we're not even a week in. And they put it away, 6-5, the final score. It's the first overtime playoff win since May 12th, 1996. That's a long time. So Florida has a pulse. It is now a 2-1 series. And as for the other ones, Pittsburgh took control, survived the Islanders 5-4, and the Golden Knights really struck, putting up five of their own to beat the Wild, who were up 2-0 until those five unanswered goals came. So Vegas now knows where the net is, and that could be a problem. So to recap, after today, the Penguins went up 2-1. The Panthers won, and now they're only down 2-1. The Golden Knights took the lead in their series up 2-1, and the Habs struck first in this series with a road win. So all 8 series have had at least one game played. Sorry, I've been yawning a lot. All 8 series have had at least one game played. The North series started last night with the Edmonton Winnipeg series, and so now everybody's played, and this is what it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be like 4 games a day from this point on. Unless eliminations occur. But anyway, so that's what took place tonight. I have to bring this up. Nazem Kadri, of course, will have an in-person hearing, and that usually means he's going to get a pretty good size suspension. Now, the way our series is going, if it turns into a long series, he'll be out just for the rest of that series. But if it becomes short, if it ends in a sweep or a 5-game series, then Kadri will most likely miss some second round games. The exact punishment hasn't really been announced, but yeah, he's gonna get it. I honestly think he's gonna get a hefty suspension to make up for the fact that they didn't really punish Tom Wilson like they were supposed to, because he was a heavy repeat offender, and all he got was a $5,000 fine, and so see this how it's playoff time, but they don't want any ornery teams in playoff time. It looks like Naz is gonna have to pay the price, especially since he's done this before. But yeah, so it won't be that big of a loss because his numbers have been stagnant for the last like couple months. One goal in the last 29 games. He hasn't really been racking up points. I guess that's why he's so frustrated. But yeah, so I think the boom's gonna be low. We'll probably know the official punishment tomorrow, but he definitely won't be playing tomorrow, at least. So, speed of tomorrow. What is in store? What is in store for us hockey fans tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow night, Game 4 between the Bruins and Capitals. Bruins now have the series lead at 2-1. Game 3, and that's in Boston still. They're still in Boston. Game 3 between the Hurricanes and Predators. That series shifts to Nashville, and Carolina has the 2-0 lead. Game 2 between the Oilers and Jets. The second game in Edmonton. Winnipeg took Game 1, and they have a one game lead. And Game 3, I mean, between the Avalanche and Blues. That series shifts to St. Louis, and the Avs have the 2-0 lead. As for Saturday, action starts early, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, but 9:30 a.m. here in the West Coast. Saturday morning, the Florida series continues with Tampa Bay up 2-1. That's Game 4. Penguins and Islanders. Penguins and Islanders Game 4 with the Penguins up 2-1. Game 2 between the Habs and Leafs. The Habs have the 1-0 lead. And Game 4 between the Golden Knights and the Wild. That's still in Minnesota, and Vegas now has the series lead. And of course, the earliest that we can see at least one elimination game is possibly Sunday. But that's if the Hurricanes, Avalanche, and Bruins all win their games. Because it'll be Game 4 of those series of the Avs series and the Hurricane series, and Game 5 of that Boston series, and those will all be elimination games if Carolina, Colorado, and Boston all win their games. So that's what's in store. That's what's in store for us hockey fans, and that's my recap of tonight's action. I will recap tomorrow night's action, hopefully with some good news for us. So stay tuned.